Okay, so yesterday you did a lesson on text structure, and there was a vocabulary video that went over the 5 types of text structures, and you read about them in your passage. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about them. So text structure, it's pretty easy to eliminate certain text structures when you think about it, but then when you get down to a couple, it's kind of hard to determine between, when you get down to 2 or 3 options, what the correct text structure is. So we're going to talk about some tips and some tricks for that. Before we do, we're going to go over the 5 text structures just one more time. So we're going to talk about description. Description is used, it's going to tell you about something. So it's going to be describing a person, an animal, an event. It's going to be giving you lots and lots of details. So some signal words are characteristics, are, is like, one example, also, another, to illustrate, to begin with, on top of, in addition to. So those are some clue words. Sometimes the keywords help, sometimes they don't. But an example is, the starfish has 5 legs and lives in the ocean. We're describing a starfish. So we're not using any of the other ones. We're just giving lots of details. Lots and lots of details is how you know that something is a description text structure. The next one has a couple different names, and that's what tends to throw people off. So this calls it order and sequence. You might also see it called chronological order. All that means is that it shows events or procedures in their order. So you're going to be looking for words like first, second, third, next, then, last. It puts things in order. So a starfish starts as an egg and then becomes a larva. It puts things in order. It tells you what happens first, next, and continues through. One that's normally so order and sequence or chronological order, that one's pretty easy to pick out, especially when you're reading a signal for order and sequence or chronological order. If it gives you dates, if it says in 1703 this happened, and then in 1724 this happened, and it puts those dates in order, that's a good hint that it's going to be chronological order or order in sequence. Another one that's normally really easy to figure out what text structure it is compare and contrast. So that's how you're showing how 2 or more things are alike and how they're different. So if something's saying dogs and cats are alike because people keep them as pets, they're both animals, they both have 4 feet, most of them have tails, we're telling how they're alike, but they're different because cats can retract their claws, and most of the time dogs are bigger than cats, and there's more breeds of dogs, whatever the differences are. If you say how they're similar and how they're different, it's most likely going to be compare and contrast. So we have both starfish and sand dollars have tube feet to move them along. So we're comparing them. We're saying how starfish and sand dollars were similar, but maybe our difference is a starfish has 5 legs and a sand dollar doesn't have any visible legs or something. So when you're looking at how things are the same and how they're different, compare and contrast is going to be your text structure. These next 2, they're the last 2 we have to go over. They are the hardest ones. It's really easy when you're going through to eliminate description, chronological order, and compare and contrast. But once you get down to these last 2, it can be really, really hard to determine what the difference in those 2 because they're really closely related. So the first one we'll talk about is cause and effect. It's going to show why something happened and what happened. The cause, why did it happen? It happened because, and the effect, okay, so it happened, what now? So if a starfish loses its leg, it can grow a new one. So the cause would be the starfish losing its leg. The effect, it's going to grow a new one. A big signal word for this one is because, which makes sense because it's cause and effect. So you're looking for why something happened and what it was that happened. The other one that's really tricky is problem and solution. So it's going to tell about a problem and show you a solution. So it's going to tell you the problem, and then it's going to give some ideas on how to fix it. So a population explosion of starfish is damaging the Great Barrier Reef. So the problem, population explosion, is damaging the Great Barrier Reef. But scientists are finding ways to solve this issue. So our problem is a big population explosion is damaging the reef. Our solution is that scientists are working to come up with a fix. So we're going to do what we did for one of the main idea. lessons, and I'm going to read some, and we're going to try and figure out what could the text structure be. We can eliminate some. That's what I always, whenever I teach text structure, I always teach you to kind of think backwards. So don't necessarily try and go right in with what the text structure is, because if you can eliminate and kick out what it's not, it makes it a lot easier to figure out the exact text structure. So I'm going to read it, and then the 4 options it gives us are cause and effect, description, problem and solution, compare and contrast. So we know this one already. Looking at our options, we know it's not chronological order or order in sequence. So be listening for clues and listening to see which one of those you think it could be. Alligators and crocodiles have many differences and similarities. Both of them can roam the land freely, but most alligators prefer to live around fresh water, while crocodiles prefer salt water. Their snouts may look alike, but look closely and you'll see subtle differences. An alligator's snout is wider than a crocodile's snout. It is also curved. An alligator's snout is also stronger. A crocodile has a pointed snout that resembles a V. The alignment of their teeth is also different. When an alligator closes its mouth, you cannot see any teeth. However, a crocodile's smile is more menacing. When a crocodile closes its mouth, a sharp, pointy tooth will show over its top lip. Both animals have scaly skin that allows them to live in the roughest of conditions, and both of them also have sensory glands located in their mouths. This helps them hunt, prey, and safely live in the water. Okay, so let's look at our options. We have, the first one is cause and effect. So, did we really know? Did it tell us because an alligator has a certain snout, it can do something? Was that what the whole thing was really organized like? Probably not. Description. Did it give us lots of details? Well, that one could possibly be it. So we've eliminated, it's definitely not cause and effect. We can eliminate that. Let's keep description, though. It could possibly be. Problem and solution. Did it tell you a problem? Did it tell you a problem alligators are facing or that alligators are causing? And did it tell you how you could solve it? Nope, so it can't be that one. And then there's compare and contrast. Did it tell us multiple things that alligators, did it tell us things they have in common that are similar and things that are different? So it told us how the animals are the same and how they're different. That's probably our best answer, isn't it? Because it started out with alligators and crocodiles have many differences and similarities. So that one gave us a really good hint up front that it's a compare and contrast text structure. Okay. All right. Here's the next one I'm going to read to you. Writing an essay can be easy if you adhere to the following steps. First, you must create a pre-writing diagram. This will allow you to put your ideas on paper in a logical form. A pre-writing diagram will also narrow your focus for writing and help organize your essay. Once you're done with your pre-writing diagram, you're ready to write. Your first paragraph should contain your topic sentence. Then, write 3 factual statements that support your topic sentence. Next, go on to your second paragraph. It should begin with a transition and the first factual statement from the first paragraph. Then, write 3 supportive sentences for that statement. Do the same thing with your third and fourth paragraphs. Be sure that each factual statement has 3 supporting sentences. The last paragraph is your conclusion. Restate your topic sentence and sum up your evidence. Writing an essay can be a manageable task if you follow these steps. Okay, so it took us through the process of how to write an essay. So let's think. A says problem and solution. What was the problem? Did they solve it? Was there a problem? There really wasn't a problem, so that one's not problem and solution. B, description. Did they give you lots and lots of details on how to write an essay? Maybe. C, chronological order. Remember, that's the one that has 2 names, chronological order or order in sequence, and that puts things in order. Well, do you see any clue words that put things in order? Do you see first, next, then, last, second? Did that walk you through step by step what the first thing you need to do is? When you're finished with that, do this, then, next. Did it walk you through exactly how to write an essay? think it did. So I think that your best answer there, don't you think, would be chronological order, because your last option, cause and effect, it didn't really tell you a cause and effect. Okay. Next one. You can see your options. Let's read. Did you know that certain foods can make you sleepy? Cherries, pasta, and lettuce are some of the culprits that can make you feel fatigued or tired. Cherries contain a hormone called melatonin. Melatonin is a natural sleep aid. The body naturally uses it to control when we sleep. It regulates the body's sleep patterns as well. However, the melatonin gained from food can add to this effect. Pasta contains a load of carbohydrates. Blood sugar levels can surge because of pasta, thus causing sleepiness. Lettuce contains lactocin, which slows down the brain processes and causes fatigue. Because of the effects of these sleep-inducing foods, it is a good idea to eat them in the evening. Okay, so we learned about 3 foods that cause you to get sleepy, and we learned why they cause you to get sleepy and what it does to your body. So, let's start from the bottom up. Compare and contrast. Were you comparing and contrasting 2 or more things? We kind of compared cherries, lettuce, and pasta and how they all make us sleepy, but we didn't really show how they were different. Chronological order. Did it tell you what to do in a specific order? No. Problem and solution. Well, maybe because there could be a problem that these foods could make you sleepy, and your solution could be that you don't eat them, you wait until the evening to eat them when you're going to go to bed soon anyway. Or there's cause and effect. Because you eat these foods and because they contain melatonin, the lactocin, and the carbohydrates, because you're consuming these, the effect is that it makes your body tired. Look through that and see if you see any clue words. Do you see the word effect? Do you see any becauses that let you know that it might be cause and effect? Look at this last sentence. Because of the effects of these sleep-inducing foods. So that gives you a hint that it's cause and effect. But you see how we kind of could have argued that it was problem and solution too, that the problem is these foods make you sleepy. So the solution could be that you don't eat them early in the day, even though the best text structure for that was cause and effect. Okay, we've got one more. It's about owls. So there's going to be one text structure that we don't get to. Owls are fascinating creatures. Their physical features mimic some features of humans, but some physical characteristics are vastly different. First, owls can turn their heads 270 degrees. Humans can only turn their heads about 90 degrees to each side. Humans and owls both have binocular vision, but owls cannot move their eyes around because they don't have eyeballs. They have tube-like eyes that are fixed in place by their bones. Humans and owls are both warm-blooded vertebrates. Lastly, both humans and owls rely on their sense of hearing. An owl's hearing is more defined, however. They rely heavily on their hearing to catch prey. Humans and owls can be nocturnal, which means active at night, or diurnal, which is active during the day. Most owls are nocturnal, however, and they hunt at night. So this one's a little tricky. Okay, so let's go through them. The first one, problem and solution. They didn't really tell us any problems. We didn't know any problems about owls or problems about humans, and they didn't tell us how to solve anything. B, chronological order. It didn't put anything in sequence. It didn't tell us what the owl does during the day or what the human does or about the life cycle. C, compare and contrast. Did it tell us things about how owls and humans are similar? Like we both have binocular vision. We can both be nocturnal or diurnal. And did it tell us how things are different? Like how many degrees we can turn our head? Sure, so we did compare and contrast humans. Let's check the last one just to be sure. Cause and effect. Do we see any because this happens, the effect is? We don't. So that means that our best text structure for that one would be compare and contrast. So remember, eliminating helps more on text structure most times than just trying to jump right into one. You have to be able to reason through, why is it not chronological order? Why is it not compare and contrast? Why is it not problem and solution? And then you're going to narrow yourself down to where you only have one or two left to pick from.